What is Christ consciousness and why is essential on the ascension journey? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sylvia Salo and I help light workers and starseeds to remember who they are. And in this video I want to talk about Christ consciousness. I personally, for myself, also call it the crystalline consciousness because it's one and the same thing. Now, when I say Christ consciousness, we mostly relate to Christ consciousness through Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ activated the grid of Christ consciousness around our planet. But this Christ consciousness goes way beyond it. It's a universal consciousness, if you will. And it's something we lost access to throughout the many falls of civilizations that happened before on this planet. And now in those times, many people are receiving Christ consciousness for themselves. Christ consciousness brings all the polarities, the duality together. And so when Christ consciousness activates within you, there are a couple of things that's going to happen. Your emotional body will start healing and balancing itself. You will start to feel unconditional love and true compassion, which is the essence of Christ consciousness. Also, your inner feminine and masculine energies will start uniting. And this is important because, of course, we are in duality, we have polarity, we have the feminine and masculine energies everywhere. But they also need to learn how to find balance, how to find communication, how to be beautifully intertwined. Because without it, we are creating and manifesting all kinds of challenges and problems which are the result of those inner energies not being balanced. And Christ consciousness is creating that trinity, the third way out of duality, through unifying the feminine and masculine energy within us. When that happens, we are able to remember and act on our spiritual sovereignty. The symbolical representation of Christ consciousness and the unification of the feminine and masculine energies would be the king and queen. When you imagine the king and the queen being the equal partners, co-creating, both being in their sovereignty, both being tapped and connected to their power, and both amplifying each other, this is how our inner energies are meant to collaborate. This Christ crystalline consciousness activates in us together with the heart chakra awakening. And I made 2 videos on heart chakra awakening, so I'll link them down below for you. You can watch them if you want, to know if you've been experiencing it when the heart chakra awakens. This is the first moment when the seed of crystalline Christ consciousness is ignited within the heart chakra. And when this happens, we start to have access to much higher consciousness. It starts to change our DNA structure. It starts to change our emotional body, our energetic bodies. And in some sense, we are becoming a higher version of ourselves. We are literally changing on every level. The heart chakra is also the keeper of the divine spark. This divine spark connects us to our I am presence, and through that to our purest essence and to source. And this divine spark is something that we lost access to. Typically, it happened for most people after the fall of Atlantis. Some people were able to maintain it throughout the thousands of years. But as a collective, if I generalize things, we lost that spark as the Atlantis fell. And because of the events that led prior to the fall of Atlantis. And when we lost the divine spark, we felt disconnected from source, we felt disconnected from who we truly are. We started forgetting. We started to believing that we are just the body having that one life and having like some limited experience. We completely forgot who we are. And Christ consciousness is igniting us again into this level of understanding. If you are interested more in this divine spark and the flames within the higher heart chakra and how to work with it, how to activate it, you can still get access to one of my monthly classes called Heart's Sacred Chamber. It's on my website, and I'll also link it somewhere here for you. Now, Christ consciousness really helps us to tap into our spiritual sovereignty. And it also needs the heart to stay open, because many people go through the heart awakening and then they stop using the heart and the heart starts closing again. The heart is like a muscle. You need to use it. When you don't use it, it can start closing again. But for Christ consciousness to properly function through us, the heart needs to stay open. And this is one of the reasons why we experience so many heart chakra initiations throughout the life. There are those events that need to keep our heart open. And usually those events are traumatic, but this is when the heart usually opens and feels. And eventually we are able to develop true compassion and move from that conditional love to unconditional love, which isn't directed at anyone specific. It's not directed at some specific person or animal or I don't know what, but it's there for everyone. Like your heart becomes the doorway for love and source consciousness to be moving through you. And this is the essence of Christ crystalline consciousness. And it's also essential for the ascension journey, because without the heart being fully activated and without us receiving that Christ crystalline consciousness, we are not able to ascend. We will feel stuck, we will feel limited, we will feel like we don't know what our purpose is even. It all becomes clear when the heart fully opens and we receive Christ consciousness. Now, when it comes to the timing when we receive Christ consciousness, it's individual. Your higher self will determine the moment when it's meant to happen for you. It's possible that some other things needs to clear out before you are able to receive Christ consciousness for yourself. Or it just may happen completely unexpectedly. Trust the timing, trust your higher self. It will happen spontaneously, but sometimes somebody else can activate it for you. I, for instance, activated in my Lightworker healing in one of the sessions for my clients. And you can do it because Christ consciousness is contagious. That's why I also made this video, because just by watching this, you are welcoming it, you are allowing it to come into your life. You are open to receiving Christ crystalline consciousness. It will help you to truly remember who you are and collect all those soul fragments. You can also think of Christ consciousness as a program which runs through you, through all of your bodies, through all of your systems, and it's aligning everything back to the original design. And so it's bringing deep peace, compassion, unconditional love, and this then becomes your operating system. And this is the reason why Christ consciousness is so important. Because when we don't have it, not only things don't flow in our lives and we don't know our purpose, but also on much bigger scale. We lose the touch with what's real and we go more into artificial things that are just distractions. And the soul is waiting meanwhile and thinking, what are you doing? Right? Christ consciousness is truly the way of ascension. And it's something that we all have to receive for ourselves. So now please, I would like to know how many of you feel your Christ consciousness has already activated? And how do you feel it? How does it look like and feel for you? Please let me know down in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching.